This piece has a kind of hypnotic and floating feel to it. And that's mostly because fifths don't carry a lot of harmonic information. If I play a root 5 right here, like this C5, root 5 is G, you don't know whether I'm playing a C minor or C major. And if you tie a lot of fifths together, you're not going to find out until some other chords come along to tell you whether you're climbing up C major or C minor. That said, they also have a lot of benefit for the same reason. Let's look at some of the shapes. We already know these power chords down here. That shape works also on the 4th to 3rd strings. It's only on the 3rd and 2nd strings, because there's a different interval between them than the other strings, that we need to change the shape. And here it goes 3 frets apart instead of 2. Otherwise we're here. And when we get back to the 1st strings, we're here. So, but as we climb the scale, let's just take a quick look up the top 2 strings. We've got C to G. One of the reasons it continues to line up is because our half-step interval between our 3rd and 4th steps in the scale is lining up very conveniently between the 7th and 8th. B to C and E to F keep that same spread. So I got. And it's only here that at the 7th step that we have a diminished 5th between the 2 of them to stay in our scale, right? We don't want F sharp, we want F natural because we're all in C here. Similarly down here, if we're climbing up same C scale on power chords, once we get here to the B, we need a BF and not a BF sharp. And that diminished 5th is going to be familiar because of the blues scale, right? That's where the so-called blue note. And that's really the only part of the intervals that, the interval of fifths, that offers much dissonance at all. Otherwise, we've got that kind of loose, harmonic, floating feel. Let's see how that's applied in the example. So we start right up here with a familiar root 5 shape between, if A is our root, between A and E. Now I perform this with a little bit of delay on it, which kind of works nicely, in part because it adds to that hypnotic floating element just by virtue of what delay does, but also because of fifths. It sounds like there are more pairs going on in the background. And I can even change chords without messing with the harmony, because again, there hasn't been much of a harmonic home established. And just another pair here. Still just trying to kind of hide what the tonal center is until we do this. And what I've got there is I have a drop D, right? My low 6th string is detuned from an E down a step to D so that I can stack up my Ds. But more to the point of this lesson, I now have a perfect 5th between my 6th and 5th string with a simple bar. And you'll see a lot of metal guys do this, not just to lower the pitch and to give you a little bit more growl on the bottom, but because it makes it a lot easier to move around. Not that this is so tough, but it makes it easier when you just have to give a bar. And you can get, it's easier to bend a little bit more consistently. You can fret things a little bit quicker than you could if you were barred across 2 separate strings. But that is, with your fingers in different places. Might be easier to hear without the delay on. Let's give that a try. Okay. So now with that D on the bottom, I've established that I'm doing something in D. D minor, D major, we're not quite sure. I come for this little run. Now here I'm stacking fifths. And that's a little bit of kind of slang for it, because what's really happening is that I'm adding a 9 on the top, right? I'm going from A to B. You count up, that's a 9th. But the B is also acting as the 5th of this E. So it is consistent with the goal that I'm going for and the kind of sound I'm going for on this song. Similarly down here, I just chose this one to show another fingering. rather than do this. Plus, it starts to get to be a little bit too much of a spread. Stacked fifths there. And there. And then that rings again. And now I'm going to climb up and add yet another fifth to this stack, right? I've got A to E is a fifth, E to B is a fifth, and B to F sharp is a fifth. And then I arpeggiate again. So with the note below, it's... Similarly, I do another thing here, starting with the D. And arpeggiate that last one. Now you can really, I'm detuned here, so it's a little bit inconvenient to show you exactly how you can continue that idea, but it's a great exercise, good spreading exercise, and really sends home the flavor of the 5 chord. So again, I can extend that to here, and even to here, and I'm just moving these around. Now at the end, I come down to a little bit of a kind of rock part, get you on treble pickup to give it a little bit more bite. And again, I'm just kind of moving these around. I can always hop up. But when I'm detuned, I can get that simple bar right across the bottom and send home that perfect 5th sound.